Yo, what's up, hi there? Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be building what an anonymous website message sender. Alright, so I'm sorry if I did not pronounce anonymous very well. I got twisted. Alright, so this is what we're going to be building. So we can allow our user to basically register. So I can say user, and I can have create a Gmail. Alright, so you can register with a password. If you click enter, and you can see we have this basic dashboard. So we have our profile. Our profile is that we can update our profile. Profile has been updated, as you can see, updated right here. Go to the dashboard. User email link also was updated. So they can copy this link, open it in incognito mode, click on it and send a message. Yo, please subscribe. And you can see here, send a message to user, send message sent. So you should refresh. You can see we have yo, please subscribe, and it was created about 3 seconds ago. So basically that's what we're going to build in this tutorial. If you're live, please make sure you like, subscribe, and let's just get started. Alright, so in the documentation website, what we want to go ahead and do is go ahead and click on documentation. You want to create our project. So you'll notice that in every Laravel project I create or I upload, I basically teach you how to create a project, which is I think necessary. So let's get a new project. So we can go ahead and copy this. So to be able to install a project, we have to make sure we have Composer installed. All right, so without Composer, we are actually not going to be able to install Laravel. So Composer is basically something you can call a dependency manager for what PHP. The same way we have node package manager for Node.js. So we have npm, which is npm. Now we have Composer, which is for basically PHP. Go ahead and click on download and download for the operating system you're using, be it Windows or Linux. All right, so once that is out of the way, what you can do is copy this, open up your terminal, and cd into where you want to create your project. I'm going to send it into documents, and I'm going to send it into my YouTube. So basically this is where all my YouTube tutorials have been created. So I'm going to paste it, then I'm going to call this message. No, let's call it who sent message. Who sent? I'm going to call it who sent. All right, ignore the first line. This is me messing up with PHP, then causing some errors. So basically our project is starting to install. All right, so what we'll do is let's wait for this to finish up. All right, so our project has been created already, so let's clear this. So what we can do is cd into the project folder who sent. Then I'm going to open up in Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is going to open up the project in Visual Studio Code. Excellent. Now that our project has been created already, what we want to go ahead and work on now is basically we want to work on the authentication system. So luckily for us in Laravel, we don't need to write authentication system basically from scratch. We can install a package for us. So we are going to be using Laravel Breeze. So Laravel Breeze has an authentication system for us. It has a login and register, then it also comes with Tailwind CSS, because we're going to be using Tailwind CSS in this tutorial. All right, so what we can do is head over back to the documentation now. Then at the top here, look at the packages part, which is right here. The first thing there is Breeze. So we're going to be using Laravel Breeze. Okay, we can see this is how it looks like. So what we can do is copy this command. And our terminal here, I'm just going to paste it. I thought I copied it, so paste it. All right, good. Again, ignore the first 2 lines that you're seeing here. It's not going to show on your computer. I was one that messed up my system trying to install Magic, PHP Magic, IMG Magic also. All right, so wait for this to finish downloading. As you can see, it has finished installing already. And what do we need to do again? We need to do was PHP Artisan Breeze install. So we have to install the package itself. All right, so we have to set it up. So what we can do is run this particular stuff. So it's going to ask us which stack would you like to install. So we want to install. We're basically going to use what the blade syntax, because we are not using React, we are not using Vue, or we're not using API. So we just want the blade, because you understand we want to be able to run it from just a Laravel application. So click 0. and I say, would you like to install dark mode? I'm just going to say yes. So basically dark mode is beautiful. Yeah, we can skip PHP test. All right, so you can say is it installing dependency. So initially, after running this, then we have to run npm install npm run dev. But now it seems like we don't need to do that again. It is doing it for us already by default. So once you run that command, everything is going to be set up already. All right, you want to create dark mode also, you have to run this particular command, but you don't need that again. You can say the options are there, you just have to check the one you want. All right, before this node dependency can be installed, remember you have to have node installed on your computer, and you can say that using npm here. So npm in this case is what? Node package manager. So you have to make sure you have node installed on your computer. So if you're trying to set up the front-end assets for Laravel. All right, so what we'll do is we'll patiently wait for the node installer run dev to finish. All right, so as you can see, it has successfully installed. So breeze scaffolding installed successfully. All right, brilliant. So now I think that is basically everything that we need to do. So what we can do now is this same terminal here, I'm just going to run the server. So you need to php access and serve. All right, so we're going to do php access and serve. I'm going to copy this particular URL. So that's our web URL, and I'm just going to paste it right here. Like I can see we have it. Now you can see we have the login and the word register. So we click on login because we have a login page, and we also have a register page. Now there are some things we want to do. So initially, the user can't register here because we haven't set up our database. So let's go ahead and set up a database. So I'm going to open up MySQL phpMyAdmin. I'm going to log in. So I'm going to create a new database in this place. A new database. So I'm going to create a new database here. I'm going to limit let's call it whosent_db. So I'm going to call this whosent_db, and basically open your .env file, and where you have db database, just change it to whosent_db. Yeah, and we should be good to go. Now there are some changes we want to make. So now the changes we want to make is, first thing, Laravel that is showing at the top here. So we want to change the Laravel here. Let's change it to whosent. All right, so you should save this. You should auto refresh on this particular stuff. You should start. You see we have whosent at the top now. So basically that is our application name. And what we want to do next is, rather than having this username, rather than having name, we want to have username. So what we'll do is head over to database migration. So there's a default migration file. So this creates user migration file. We're just going to change this to username. All right, so this username here, let's make it unique. So someone else cannot we cannot have duplicate username. So we have username, email, and password. Very good. So when that is done now, you can open up a new terminal in your Visual Studio Code. We are going to run migration. So we're going to run php artisan migrate. All right, so we should run this. This is going to migrate our database for us. Head over back to our database, click on it. You see we have the users table here, and we have username, email, and password. All right, so this should work almost yet, but it's not going to work initially because we have to set up the models to accept username. But before that, go to the views, click on auth, the register bleed here. There's one thing I like doing. I like removing this required. So I don't like this required here. So I like removing required. All right, so basically we'll be able to see our error more presentable. And there's one thing I want us to do initially. So in this terminal here, let's go ahead and do npm run dev. So if you do npm run dev, basically any changes that we make and we save our file, is our web page is going to auto reload itself. So basically that's the use of the npm run dev. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and refresh this page. So we should click register. Hold on, I don't know why it's okay. No, let's click on register. Like I said, we have name field is required and so on. Now you remember it is not name, So what we want to do is we want to change this to username, this also to username. All right, so I want to change this to username. Okay, yep, and that should be good. We can see our page is auto refreshing itself. All right, so once that is done, now what we can do is we can go to our controllers, auth, or we can go to register user controller. So where we have this email validate, we're going to validate what username instead. All right, so it's rather than showing me, it's going to be showing username. So we should click register. You can have, you see we have username field is required. I also want to make sure that it is what it is unique. So you can go ahead and just copy this particular code here. I'll paste it right there. And we have to change this username we create. We have to change this to what? The username. Also this one to username. All right, and the last thing we need to do is head over to the user model, which is under the models folder. We have to change this to username also. All right, so once everything is done, we should be able to create a new user. So let's do .precious. I want to have my email address, then a password, also a password. We should click register. You can see we are logged in. All right, so now I can check my profile. You can see profile is there. You can update your profile, update your password. So initially everything you need is working here. So we just have to change this profile information. We'll do that. Now initially there's supposed to be a text right here. So let's go ahead and fix that. You know what is expected is the name. Well, now we are passing the word username, so we have to fix that. So what we can do is go to the views, and where we have dashboard here. Nothing is here, so I think we are going to the layout. We're gonna go to navigation.blade, and let's try and look for so auth username. So this is going to be username instead. Save this. It's auto load, and you can see we have our username here. Now in the profile page also, profile. So let's say profile edits.blade. So where we are, they're including what? They're including the profile partials of the profile information form. So which is basically this one here. So what we want to do is, rather than having username here, rather than having name, they want to have username. So we're going to have username. All right. So we want to have username, and this is going to be username. It's not going to be name, it's going to be username. Also going to be username. And also we have to check the errors and also go to pass username. So save this. So we should refresh our profile. Now you can see we have username there. Okay, good. So there's one thing we have to do to confirm that the user can update is our profile. So what we can do is let's try and look at the controllers there, because I believe there should be a all right, you know what we'll do initially. So let's go to web.php. We can find the route in this place. Okay, so the route to edit our profile is basically in this place. So you're going to click on this, going to open it out. Okay, it's in the profile controller. How did I not see that? So it's in the profile controller, and here. So basically this should work. So I'm just going to add underscore here. Click save. Okay, so we should refresh this. Okay, we have an error now. So we have to look at this. So user field request validated. All right, so let's look at the user request data. All right, so this is as requesting what for a name. So let's change this to a username instead. All right, so let's change that to username instead. I want to make sure. Okay. I think we should make sure that the username does not exist also. So let's go ahead and include this particular command also. All right, so refresh. Let's add underscore save. you can see it has been saved already. Saved show. All right, it's saved now. So our username, you can see everything is updated, so it's working now. Very good. So what we want to work on now is the message part. All right, so basically, as someone that's not very good in front end, I think we can just design list of messages in this place. So let's go to our dashboard. I'm going to close everything in this place. So I'm done with authentication. Go to the dashboard. I mean, so where we have this, you are logged in. All right, so where we have this, I think we can just close everything here. I can have a grid. All right, I'm gonna say place items center initially. Let's go ahead and do hello world. Hello. Okay, we should refresh this so you can see we have our hello in the middle here. Very good. So that's what we want. I want to go ahead and have okay, I think I missed something initially because I want to be able to, you know, we have dark mode and light mode initially, so I want to be able to use light mode and dark mode. So I think we can just ignore that for now initially. So what we want to do is we want to have div let's give it a 10. No, 10 is too much. Let's say 4. Then we say rounded AMD. I can say hello. All right, so this should refresh and we have nothing yet because we need to give it background color. So let's give it BG white. Okay, very good. So this is what we want, and I can go ahead and give it shadow MD. I'm not sure if you can see the shadow, but the shadow is initially there. All right, so this is what we want. All right, so what we want to do is want to have let's say grid. Again, place item center. All right, and you want to have span. Let's just give it large. So Laravel span. All right, so we have Laravel span here. Let's try text center. I'm trying to center the text initially. All right, good. So we have text center. Then under this here, we want to have a div of flex, which is going to be want to accept two things initially. I'm trying to figure out how I can do it. So I'm trying to figure out the two things we can accept. So one should be like the date. So let's say, okay, let's just say created at. All right, then the next is going to be just the date. Let's just say, let's use user date for now. Created at. All right, so you can see we have that. What we can do is can do justify between. Okay, you see we have nothing actually. So what we can do is outside of this, we can have this here. Very good. Then we just have div padding top of, let's say 1:8000. All right, save this. All right, so I'm going to get env. I'm going to do dot. All right, so we're going to do dot. Okay, I'm trying to see what I can do in this case. Should you just have the user? Okay, let's say user. Then we can have slash. Then the username. So we can have this username. All right, brilliant. So basically, we can go ahead and call it here. So we can go ahead and do auth. The third user. They want to go ahead and call this attribute that we have here, or the method that we created. All right, so save this and it should reload. Also, we have our URL here. So also here, I want it to be clickable. So I'm just going to copy this, paste that. Yeah, so actually over this, like I said, I have the URL there. So what next I want to do is head over to the web.php. So we don't want it to be inside any middleware kind of stuff, so anybody can access it. So we also have route get. So what do we need? We are needing what? The user. So we're going to have the user, then what? The username. All right, then basically let's go ahead and create another model, another controller, I mean. So we can go ahead and create another controller. So PHP artisan make controller. So you can call this message controller. All right, so this message controller, we can have function index. All right, so this index, you're going to accept username. All right, so once you accept username, that there's basically two things you want to do. Check if the no, just one thing actually. So for now, I want to check if the username exists, or basically if the user exists. So you can say user is equals to user find or fail. Find or fail works for only email, so we are not going to be using that. It works for only ID, so we're not going to be using that. We're going to be using where username. All right, so where username equals to what? Username. We're going to what? Get the first. All right, so I'm just going to delete this user to see if we have user here. If we have the user. Okay, so now in our web.php, now what we can do is we can go ahead and call message controller. So we can go ahead and call index. So I'm going to give this a name, call it message.index. All right, so save this, and if you refresh, once you click on this, you can see you have down and up, or you down and up of what? Of our user data. Exactly. So basically we know, yes, we are trying to send a message to this particular user. All right, so what we want to have now is in our index, we want to have render out a view. So you can go to the view here, or you can create a file, say called message.play.php. all right, so this play.php, we can replicate everything we have here. So copy this and paste it right here, and we can basically delete some stuff that is not needed. So we don't need this URL, and yeah, we don't need this two that is inside. So but we need the white stuff. So right, so in this place we're going to do return view, or you can have what's the name of our file? It's called message. Then I can go ahead and have compact. So what I want to send to the view of our user. Now in the message, now I can basically go ahead and do span text medium, and I can send a message to this particular user. All right, so we should go back to the browser and have a refresh. Now you can say I've sent a message to Dev Precious. All right, so now it's working as expected. So initially, if I should copy this, so let's just go ahead and test this, use this in incognito mode. So you can see in incognito mode now we're having an error. All right, so you're having an error because we are rendering the authentication path. So this wants us to be logged in. So we can go ahead and fix that by going to our navigation, which is in the layouts, navigation w.php, and I say this. Maybe we just add ternary operator or something like that, but that's not the best way to do it because it's still going to give an error in some other place. All right, so you feel me? What we can do is we can check if the particular user is logged in. So you can check if this particular user is logged in, or we basically don't use the navigation stuff. So in this case, we're not going to be using the navigation stuff. So we go to the message, because we are going to write the code to check if it's logged in. So you can see we have for the mobile and we have for the desktop. It's going to take a lot of time. I don't want it to have to be longer than how it's expected to be. So what we can do is when we have this navigation, All right, so we have navigation now. We have app layout. So this app layout here in the include. So what I can do is I say if. Okay, so we can basically do it in this place. I say if auth. Okay, I think we got it. So if auth user. Alright, so if the user is logged in, basically include a file. Alright, so let's try that out. Like I can see it's working now. So if the user is logged in, include a file. As simple as that. We just need to change something in the message. This is going to be send. Okay, okay, we can change this to send the message to username. Alright, which is going to be right here. We have an error. Okay, so change this to double quotes. Alright, let's see if this work. Yeah, it's not working. So okay, let's just remove this. It's weird, right? That particular. Oh, we don't need to just. We can basically just call it right here. Sorry. So you can basically call it right here. Alright, so send a message to the precious is not working. So what we want to do is basically have a text area. We're going to have div padding top of 6. Alright, so once we have a text area, save this. Or we'll have this particular text area here. Alright, so what we can do is you can style it. You can say rounded MD. Border should be black. Border black. Alright, and I think that is okay already. So border black. Alright, we can do W full. Alright, good. So you have our message. Now we just need let's give it a name called message. And once that is done, right under here, we can have div padding top of, let's say. Yeah, sorry about that. I know if I click on 3, I've forgotten I had hotkeys set up already. So sorry about that. That's why the video keeps pausing. So I want to have padding of 3. Then I want to have PG blue. Let's say 500. Alright, save this. We should have our button here, and basically we want to have our text should be white. Okay, very good. Alright, so you're done with this. Now the next section, let's just work on sending the message to the user. Alright, so to do that, we can go ahead and create a model. PHP artisan make model. It's called message, and we are going to create a migration with it. Alright, so inside our migration file, what I want to do is I want to change this to a big increment. It's going to be an ID. Right after that, we're going to have a user ID field, which is going to be unsigned big integer. Alright, which is going to be user underscore ID. Then basically we just want the message. So you have a string message, and for the user ID field, we want to make it to be foreign. So you can go ahead and do foreign. Alright, so foreign user ID reference. So reference what ID on what table? On the users table. Alright, so we can basically run PHP artisan migrate. Alright, so that should work. Now we have to open our model, our message model. I want to have protected fillables. So what do we want to be able to fill? We want to be able to fill what? The user ID and the message. Okay. So Then we want to have a relationship here. So you're going to say this is user. If I say return this belongs to the user. All right, so every message that is being sent belongs to a particular user. All right, so that user now can have many messages. So we're going to have function messages. All right, we're going to have return this as many words message. Okay, so we have as many. Brilliant. So once that is done, what we can do is this div here, let's turn it to a form. So let's turn this to a form where I have our method should be what? Post. Then in our web.php and our web.php, you can copy this. Now this should be a post request, the same URL. This should be send. So I'm going to target the send and let's just call this send also. Alright, so we have to create a new function called send. So it's a function called send. This is going to accept a request. So this request here, the first one to do is I want to validate. So we're going to validate. All right, so what do I want to validate? I want to validate the message. So we're going to just say required and it's a string. All right, that is basically everything that we need to do. Then to save our message, what we can do is we can go ahead and do send is equals to message create. All right, so we're going to create what? So we want to create the user ID. So the user ID is going to be gotten from where? So where's user ID is going to be gotten from? So the user ID is going to be passed from the request. So we're going to have request user. Let's call it user ID. We're going to have the message also. So we're going to have message request message. All right, so we can now do if sent. We can do return redirect back. So you can redirect back, right? With so once we redirect back with a success message, and we can go ahead and say message sent. Else return back with a what? With an error message. And we can call it error sending message. All right, beautiful. So what we want to do now is go to the message and right here we can have an input field which is going to be hidden. All right, or you can call this user ID and a value. We can give it a value. So what is going to be the value? User ID. All right, so if we should check our incognito mode now, we should open this F12. Sorry, not F12. But I should check the source code. All right, Control U. You can see our user ID is 1, so it is there now. All right, so what we want to do now is we want to have action. We want to have action. So this action we're going to have route. So what's our route name? Our route name is what? Message.send. And once after every form, you have to make sure you have what? CSRF for security purpose. Okay, now before we finish that, right under here, we want to do error message. So if there's error message, relating to the message, to our message field. We can have text read 500 and say, and just print out the message error. All right, and there's one thing we need to do again, which is like under this place, you can see if, so you can have if session as success. So if session has success, we can have div w full rounded md bg green 500. Text should be white. All right. Oh my god, after writing all this, are you kidding? Okay, then we can go ahead and call session get success. All right, so this particular same code again, we can copy it for our error message, and this case is going to be red. All right, and let's check it out. So we have an error that says missing parameter username. Yeah, so the username is missing, which is initially we don't even need to pass the username, but in case you want to pass the username yourself, in case you want to pass the username, you can basically head over here and do username. All right, so you can do username. If you should refresh, you can see everything is working out. So all I can do is just say hello bro, keep working. All right, send this. I can see we have what message set. Beautiful. Now we should go to our database, and we should go to the messages. You can see you have user ID and message. If I should over this user ID, you can see it belongs to this particular email address, which is very, very nice. Now, basically, I believe I can say the last thing we want to do now is list out the messages in this place. Then basically you're done with the functionalities of anonymous message kind of stuff. Okay, so what we can do is, where we have this dashboard, where this dashboard is running, so it's running from the web route here. All right, so we can go ahead and have message is equals to wait, rather than having this message, I believe we can do something beautiful first, because I mean Laravel is very beautiful. So I believe we can do something like this. So let's try it. So let's cut this out, and let's do for each auth user messages. Remember, because we have the messages in our user model as message. All right, so let's paste this. Let's see if we have any error. You can see we have no error, so basically it is working. So yeah, we can change this to message. Okay, we can change it to message. You can see hello bro, keep working, created that. Yep, 32 minutes ago. Yeah, no, that is incorrect. So you have message created that 1 minute ago. So again, you come here and send the response. Send the response, refresh, it will be here. So we can fix our styling by, let's say, padding top of, let's say, 6. Okay, no, not that place, sorry. We can have I'm just going to wrap this with, like, let's say padding top of 4 instead. I mistakenly copied it. I did not copy it back. So let's say div dot padding top of 4. All right, so let's see. Yeah, she's working on. Now the issue here is it is sent 41 seconds ago. It was sent to that one was sent to me to go. So we wanted to be, according to how they were sent. So rather than doing that one, we can go ahead and do messages is equals to message where user ID. So where the user ID is equals to what? The authenticated user. Okay. Then we can go ahead and compact messages. Now we can go back to our dashboard. Alright, so rather than use this one, we can go ahead and just pass in messages here. So let's check if it still works. So if nothing is working. Alright, so nothing is working now. Yeah, because we have to do now. Let's go ahead and specify latest. So latest basically order them by the time they were created, and we have get to get all the messages. You can see now send response is first and hello keeps working is second. Alright, so basically you can go ahead and add a button that allows you to copy the link and do whatever you want to do. And basically if you want me to do an advanced version of this application, just like my friend on website, which is messageme.me, go ahead and leave a comment. And thank you for watching. See you next time. Peace.